All set, Carol.
Great, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I'm Carol Lisbon, Chair of the Dover Planning Board. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 7:03. We have two segments of the meeting tonight. Our first will be a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen, and then we'll go to a solely Planning Board meeting for other activities. So the first order of business here is to do a roll call vote for the Planning Board. So Val Lynn?
Present.
Jody Shu?
Present.
Great, thank you. So we have a quorum, and I'll turn it over to Chair of the Board of Selectmen, Robin Hunter, to call her meeting to order and do the roll call vote.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the second Board of Selectmen's meeting this evening. And I will open the meeting and take a roll call vote. I, Robin Hunter.
Dave Haviland present.
I, Ken Hudson.
We're all here.
Wonderful. In that case, Melissa, we just double check and make sure that Katie's not waiting?
Yeah, I don't see her,
Nope.
Carol. I have
Okay.
it open so I can keep an eye on it.
Yep, okay. So the first item on our joint meeting tonight is to vote for the planning board to vote on the nominations for two positions that we have opened to fill remaining terms. One is a nomination for a full voting member, which is normally a 5-year term. And the other is to fill the opening of the associate member, which is normally a 2-year term. In this case, because the bylaws require it, the nominations and votes tonight for appointment will only be valid through the May 2026 town election. So the folks that we appoint tonight will have to go through the caucus process in early March, and then the town election process 2 weeks after the town meeting in May. So with that, excuse me for a second, sorry. Dog. Sorry. So with that, I would like to have Melissa explain the process that we're going to go through tonight for the voting and appointments and the nominations.
Thank you, Carol, and good evening, everybody. So what I've prepared and circulated to the members of both of the boards is the nomination and also the actual appointment process. This process is mirrored after Robert's rules, and I have verified this with Nina Pickering Cook, our town council. What will happen first is the planning board alone, absent any opinions and comments from the Board of Selectmen, will make nominations for the full member seat. And then the second step would be making nominations for the alternate member seat. Again, as noted by the chair this evening, these will bring us to the spring election, at which time those seats will be filled by the folks that top the ticket in that election. The second part of the action this evening, which will be completed by both of the boards as a joint appointment by roll call vote, will be the actual appointment of the full member and the appointment of the alternate member. And I have provided suggested motions for both of those actions this evening.
Okay, thank you, Melissa. So are there any questions about the process before we begin it? Okay, seeing none, the first thing we will do is take nominations for the full member, meaning the member that has an official vote and in the planning board.
Oh,
So-
I see Katie.
Okay, we'll just hold off in just a second.
Yep, let me just promote her. Okay, she should be on in a minute. There we go.
Hi, Katie. Ooh, we're up. Yep, there you go. Hi
Hello,
there.
everyone.
So we've just gone through the process that we're going to be using for the nominations and appointments for the two planning board positions. Okay,
Okay.
so we're going to start with the full member. Nominations are now in order for the full planning board member. Do we have a nomination? Jody.
I'd like to nominate Nicholas Bohm for the full planning board member position.
Okay, so Nicholas Bohm is nominated. Are there any further nominations from planning board members? Okay, seeing none, the nominations are therefore closed. And Melissa, should we vote on one at a time?
I think we can do the nominations together
okay.
and then we can move into the joint appointments with
Okay.
both boards. Yep.
Great, okay. So at this point, I'd like to open nominations to the associate planning board member. This is a non-voting member, but who attends all the meetings and participates as everyone else does. Do I hear nominations for the associate position? I see Val with her hand raised. Val,
I would like to nominate Eric Aberjali for the associate member.
okay, thank you. So Eric Aberjali is nominated. Are there any other nominations for the associate planning board position? Okay, so seeing none, we will now go to the voting and appointment process. And Melissa, would you like to run that roll call vote?
I would love to.
Thank you. So we have a vote for the appointment of Nicholas Baum as a full planning board member, term to expire in May of 2026 at the town election. So we will start with a vote. Jody Shu.
We
Yes.
need a full motion first.
Oh,
Somebody.
sorry.
Yep.
Do you want
if
me to
somebody-
read the
I'm sorry,
motion, Carol?
Yep, me too.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So the one that you shared with us, Melissa, the Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board vote to appoint Nicholas Bohm as a full member to the Planning Board with a term to expire on May 18th, 2026, pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 41, Section 11.
Do I hear a second?
Second,
Thank you, Val. We will now do the roll call vote.
Yep. Carol,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Cam,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Jody,
Yes.
and Kate.
Yes.
So that's unanimous.
Oh, did Val vote?
I don't think I did.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
We
I'm
need
sorry,
seven.
Val.
Seven.
Member Lynn, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Now it's
Now
unanimous.
it's unanimous vote.
So that's 700 for the full member. And now a second motion for the alternate.
Jody, would you like to read that one as
Sure.
well?
The Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board vote to appoint Eric Aberjali as an alternate member to the Planning Board with a term to expire on May 18th, 2026, pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 41, Section 11.
And do I hear a second for that?
Second,
Thank you, Val.
Mhm.
And now we will take a roll call vote.
Yep. Carol,
Yes?
Dave,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Val,
yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Jody,
Yes.
and Kate.
Yes.
Okay, another
Okay,
unanimous vote.
wonderful. Well, Nick and Eric, welcome. To the other candidates, thank you so much for your application, and rest assured that we will be in touch about participating in the very many opportunities that exist to join town government. So thank you all very much. It was a great interview process, and we really appreciate everybody's attention to this. So we will now move on to joint meeting agenda item number 3, which is a preliminary site plan review for an accessory education / camp building at Hale Education on Powasset Street. So we'll let Melissa add everybody in.
Yep, I'm just bringing them over.
Yep.
Okay, and Tyler, I think that's your full team. Okay, we have Tyler, Carlos, Aaron, and John. Is that your full team that's here tonight? Awesome. Thank you, Aaron.
Yep.
Okay, so with that, I have prepared and circulated for everybody in advance of the meeting. I'm just going to share my screen here. Prepared a staff report. And before we get into this, I just want to thank the team from Hale. We had some really good working sessions to get through these materials, which I think I know made my job a lot easier in doing the review. So what we have here this evening, folks, this is an application filed by Hale Education for 0 Powysset Street, one of the many parcels that they own here in Dover, which is known as Assessor's Map 19, Parcel 7. And we're reviewing this particular application under preliminary site plan review application, section 18536, and also have the Board of Selectmen here with us this evening for a joint meeting as they have authority under the property in this open space overlay area. So the proposal that we have in front of us this evening tonight is for a accessory structure, a 1.5-story structure that's about 2,000 square feet on the primary level of usable space and a lower level that's just over 1,000 square feet. Also part of the building is about a 700 square foot porch and a 23 spot parking area to be used for this particular building. There's also some accessory features as part of the project, some grading, some drainage improvements, things like that associated with the construction. The use of this building will be for offices, storage, a reception area, lavatories, and an infirmary use as well. I've included here in the report for everyone, it's such an expansive property. There was a lot of information in the application materials that were circulated. But if you can see on this page here, this yellow dot, that is the general area in which this particular project is going to take place. So again, very large pieces of land that I was trying to navigate and look at maps and how you get here and whatnot. And it's essentially buried in the woods. But just for context, this is the area in question that we'll be looking at this evening. Also included here in the report, there's a lot of talk in the community about the conservation restriction, something that both Hale is focused on, and I know that the community, obviously, of Dover and Westwood is as well. This Exhibit D is right out of the draft conservation restriction, and you can see I've asked them to highlight again the location of the new building, and we can see here by the mapping that it is in the primary program area. There's going to be areas of the site that are restricted as a typical conservation restriction area, and then there's also some areas that are described as the primary program areas and the secondary program areas, all highlighted here on this plan. This here is just a list of all the materials that was submitted on the online portal. We are live and working in the OpenGov. Can't say enough great things about it. Very user-friendly. It allowed the applicant to upload all of these documents. And as the chair is aware, Christine and I have been using that to our advantage as well and uploading all our materials. So the abutter notifications that go out, the staff reports, we're essentially duplicating the public record in digital form through the OpenGov system. So all the information is there and accessible. This document here, which was also provided in the packet to the board members, I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit, is essentially the site plan. Over to the right, you can see the Eversource power line easement just for reference for location. And you can see this green area here will remain the tree line and untouched. We have the 23 parking space area here. Initial discussions, they were talking about gravel. They may in fact pave that area. They have provided drainage if they do in fact decide to pave that area. I was doing some rough calculations on coverage and on the size of this particular parcel, which is in excess of 300 acres. And it's like the increase in lot coverage was a 0.000. So de minimis, just not even worth including in any type of analysis. Extremely de minimis given the expansive area. We have a series of walkways. Handicap and ADA access has been something that the engineer has looked at in detail to get up to the building here, in which you will enter on the first level. That I described earlier is about 2,000 square feet. And then the back area here, you enter into the lower level. They're hoping to really not have to remove any trees. When they get out in the field, there could be a little bit of tree removal. There could also be slight shifting of the footprint to accommodate not removing any of the trees. However, there is no clearing proposed in the setbacks of the lot. This particular lot to the north, the closest property line is about, I think, 520 feet. And to the south, it's well over a half a mile. So very interior to the piece of property that we're looking at this evening. We also have to talk about this evening is the floor plans. Again, this is the lower level. As you can see, there's some unexcavated areas and a crawl space. We have a rec room down here on the right with some beautiful barn doors that open up onto the property. We have a storage area, and then this is kind of a utility area for the composting toilets that they're going to be using inside the building. Another sort of green eco technology is part of this project. We have the main level here in the second floor plan. We have the main entrance here that I spoke about at the first level into a reception area. We have some offices for the staff and counselors, a small conference area. And we also have the infirmary, some storage, and then the lavatories that I had spoke about earlier. So a pretty small building, not a lot of wasted space, very efficient layout. The architect's done a great job in sort of addressing the needs of the facility at this particular location. And then really the showpiece is the renderings. Log cabin, absolutely beautiful. This is the front rendering. So this is if you're coming into the parking area. As noted again, you'll enter into sort of that main level of the building. And then we also have the rendering in the back that I had spoke of with those entrances and the nice barn sort of doors for that recreation sort of open area, whether it's gathering or activities with the kids and whatnot, nice and open and a lot of fresh air and stuff flowing in through there. So wonderful job on the elevations. And then we get into really the findings, which is straight out of the zoning bylaw. And these things take into account compliance with the bylaw. As noted previously, we're looking at a 300 or so acre parcel. There are no concerns about coverage. The building meets the height limitations. The parking is sufficient in accordance with the 1 space per 100 in our zoning bylaw. Lot size, obviously, very oversized lot. A lot of the things that would come into play given the size of the property are essentially non-issue and compliant and meet and exceed any dimensional criteria. The second set of findings that the planning board looks at is the location of the driveway openings in relationship to street traffic, convenience, safety, pedestrian bikes, any way anybody would be getting in and out of this particular place. I had looked at some maps, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you would get on Carby Street in Westwood and make your way onto something called Brune Way that had showed up on one of the plans that I was looking at. And that's essentially how you would get here. This particular building is located in the parking area off of Brune Way. Again, sufficient parking in this area. And it is likely to see a small increase in pedestrian activity, bicycle activity, and vehicular activity to this particular location on the site, obviously. New building and new parking. However, there aren't really any concerns about creating any unsafe or inconvenient situations. Very, very interior to the property, not a situation where we have multiple curb cuts and or multiple people trying to access different locations in this particular area of the site. The proposed accessory structure, in conjunction with the Hale Education and Camp uses, provides for 23 additional parking spaces. Again, I just did some quick calculations, and while the total square footage is over the 1 per 100, we typically don't park for storage areas and things like that. So 23 parking spaces is more than sufficient for this size building in accordance with our bylaw. The next set of findings is the arrangement and appearance of the proposed new building structures, colors, and materials. As we had showed in the renderings early, the building is beautiful, essentially a log cabin type of appearance, very in keeping with the camp and natural theme that we have going on here. The area in question is a great area for this building. A lot of it has already been cleared, and they're using the topography to their advantage to build the building into the slope to really take advantage of removing fill and cuts and grading and things like that. So great location and good site design, both from the architect and the civil engineer on this one. The provisions to protect the surrounding premise against detrimental impacts. The only ones that would really impact is themselves, and really there are no concerns. Around this particular building is expansive wooded area. And the engineer has also included a stormwater management system. We'll be infiltrating 100% of the roof, clean runoff back into the ground. And then there is also additional catch basins and infiltration associated with the parking area in the event that they use a hard packed gravel surface or a paved surface. Lot of different resources out here, as everybody's aware. And again, they have taken into account being out of any resource buffer areas, out of the floodplain. I had mentioned the topography and that they're using that in their advantage to the design. They've done some test pits to get an idea of groundwater levels and soil conditions. That's all checked out. And also the location, size, height, and use of this particular building jives with the draft conservation restriction. And then the last item, or one of the last items, is the potential impact on natural resources, including groundwater and open space. And a notice, as mentioned in some of my previous comments, this area is largely cleared, which will help with additional tree removal. And then we have the stormwater recharge, which is paramount in keeping our groundwater levels where they are. So another couple other benefits to the project as well. Potential impact on town resources, including protective agencies, streets, and public spaces. Again, very deep into the expansive property that they own, and kind of looking at the conservation restriction as something, is benefiting the public, and being a town resource, having that area restricted. We see no impacts and conflicts at this time with that particular language. And then we look to make sure that the building isn't going to be incongruent or inappropriate in character. And again, all of the materials that have been submitted, they look great. The site plan looks great. The elevations look great. The floor plans, everything really checks out and really lines up with what they're looking to do at the property and the intent. I don't see this as a situation where there's extra building space or unneeded provisions or any type of accessory features like the parking. Everything jives and makes sense, and seems like it will really serve Hale Education without being excessive in nature. And then last but not least, we look for full compliance with the bylaw, and the accessory structure and parking area complies with all other requirements in the zoning bylaw. I can pause there, Carol. I'm sure there might be some questions, and I know the folks are here. We have a bunch of folks from Hale with us this evening, and then we can get back into it after we have some discussion. Thank you, Carol.
Well, thank you, Melissa, for a comprehensive review of the project. I would like to say hello and welcome to the Hale team, and especially to Aaron Morehouse, the new executive director, who has not been before the planning board before, like some of his predecessors have. So welcome, Aaron.
Thank you so
And
much, Carolyn.
I'm sure we'll be seeing more of you over the next couple of years. Some exciting.
Hopefully over the next couple of months.
Oh, even that. Okay. So it would be helpful. This is, Hale has been in the forefront of activities in Dover for a while, since your predecessor started the whole process of looking at a CR and so forth. So I was wondering if you could just give us a quick overview of the current state of the conservation restriction.
Sure. Thanks so much, Carolyn. I just want to recognize Melissa and the team for a great job on putting all of that the work together for the presentation today and for the project. So as far as status on the conservation restrictions, as you're probably very well aware, there are two conservation restrictions that were drafted and submitted to the state for approval last winter. Those two conservation restrictions, as those got approved by the state, we were working on some due diligence, environmental testing, and had to complete the surveying of all of the parcels, all of the property, all the other steps to wrap everything up. In doing that due diligence, it came to our attention that there was a non-reportable level of PFAS that was found in a stream down gradient of the landfill on the one parcel for the conservation restriction on the other side of Powysset Street, where the landfill cap landfill is, and the transfer station. That raised a lot of questions. Not again, it's non-reportable levels, very, very low levels of PFAS, but it raised a lot of questions about the landfill, the cap landfill, having a CR on it, as well as the solar panels. So many questions that needed to be answered. So we worked with the trustees to edit and revise the conservation restrictions, really for just a couple of things right now. One is that the cap landfill has been carved out of the conservation restriction. That is on that side of the road, the 137-acre parcel or 136-acre parcel. The larger parcel, the parcel that or CR that this project is on, still remains over 900 acres, and there's no change really to that CR. It's really the one on the opposite side of the street. So carving out the cap landfill. It also, the other change that folks should be aware of is that the trustees will hold both of the conservation restrictions for the two CRs in this new iteration and submission to the state that we'll be doing in the coming days. So the revised CRs were only just completed over the last couple of months. Were just approved by the corporate board of Hale and the board of directors in December to move forward. Those will be soon submitted to the state, and then once the state reviews those, they'll be coming to the towns for approval and signature. Our hope is that we're getting this last stage of review from the state and approvals and signatures in the first quarter of this year. That's our hope. So that's why I mentioned you'll be hearing from us soon as we hear back from the state on the two conservation restrictions that we'll be submitting to them. I'm happy to answer any questions about the CRs and their status.
Aaron, thank you for that. Are there any questions about the CR status at this point?
Carol, it's a question, I think it's related, but since the CR is not approved yet, is there any legal or other reason to delay the effectiveness of this approval tonight, assuming we're approving it? I just don't know if are we getting ahead of ourselves legally or with the Commonwealth, and I just don't want to do something inadvertently that would mess this up.
No, our partners at the trustees know of this project. It's been in conversation with the trustees and within Hale for a couple years now. Before my arrival, this building was being talked about. And it falls within the primary program area, which has the allowance for this much more a higher level of construction as far as square footage and impact within primary program areas that are in the map that Melissa shared earlier. No concerns there, no concerns from our legal counsel or moving forward on this project and being able to have the CRs approved.
Aaron, I appreciate that, and I hope it's the same answer, but we've got Nina on the phone. I was wondering if Nina can just say, yes, she agrees with it, and we can just move on.
It's Nina
So
Green.
Dave, it's Nina
Nina
Green from the
Green.
Warren Committee.
Oh,
not
well, I'm sorry.
Nina Pickering Cook, our town council.
I only used to live across the street. Never mind. But that still then is an open question in my mind. I just want to make sure that we're going to grant a CR, or sorry, we're going to grant the building permit, but the CR is not even submitted to the state yet. And so are we ahead of ourselves?
So your question is not, we're only ahead of the process because when we get into the conditions of the decision,
Yeah.
you'll note that condition 10 addresses your concern, which basically we'll go through that in detail, but basically it says that this whole thing is contingent upon it being valid within the final and approved CR. So, but we'll get to that by answering when we answer to answer your question.
Wonderful.
in detail when we get
If
to
it's
that.
addressed, Carol, I'm happy. I just wanted to ask the question.
Yep, no, it's a good question. Absolutely.
I will mention that there's a baseline survey that has been completed, of course, as part of the conservation restrictions, and in that there's an assessment of total square footage in the entirety of the primary program areas that currently exists. So there is that already within the CR. This building and its footprint will not be part of that baseline report, in that the baseline report is done prior to the construction of this building. This building will subtract the total number of square footage from the total allotted amount and allowed amount of square footage within the primary program area. So I want to be sure that we don't have a contingency that requires this building to be mentioned and or inside the baseline report for the conservation restriction.
That is all of not my intent whatsoever. All I want to know is that by granting this tonight, we are not ahead of ourselves with the state, and that would somehow upset the state or prevent the CR from going through.
That's great, Dave. We're on the same page. Nobody wants anything that's going to prevent the CR from going through. We're all together on that.
So
Coming down the final stretch.
Yep.
Are there any other questions now about the building itself or any of the actual plans for the building and the parking lot? Seeing none, I think, let me go through that. Seeing none. Okay. Jody, would you like to make the motion?
Sure.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Carol, before we get into the motion, I just want to bring people's attention to condition number 10, which I did update earlier today. Again, with just making sure that everyone's on the same page with the conservation restriction. The planning board members didn't have a chance to see this aside from the chair. It was drafted late today. And basically all says the granting of the preliminary site plan review application is based on the limitations and permissions in the draft conservation restriction submitted with the preliminary site plan review application. And what Aaron was explaining is there is a inventory of what is there, and then there's permissions and limitations on what can be built. And this new building is coming out of the what can be built in the future category. So there's no double dip situation. It's not something that is going to be put in there that isn't recognized. So they're essentially eating into their future building allowance with this building that we have in front of us this evening. Any revisions to the draft conservation restriction shall ensure that the accessory structure and parking area approved by this preliminary site plan review application are still allowed within the building program. In no time shall the use of the accessory structure or parking area conflict with the of conservation restrictions. So it's in really everyone's best interest, especially Hale, to keep the language that's in there. I did provide the full draft conservation restriction to everybody. So if you wanted to do a deep dive, there is a section that talks about what's there and what can be built in the future based on the primary and secondary program areas. So I just wanted to make sure this wasn't in the draft that I had shared with the Hale team and with the planning board and the Board of Selectmen, but belts and suspenders here to make sure that everybody is moving forward with the same premise. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Melissa. And thank you for getting that wording done so quickly. It was about basically maybe an hour and a half ago we talked about it. Thank you very much. Any other questions before we go on to the motion? In that case, Jody, you're on.
Okay, so am I reading all the conditions as well?
Yes, please.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
Do you have a glass of water before?
Ready, go.
My teacher voice. I'd like to make a motion to approve the preliminary site plan review application for the accessory structure and parking area and all supporting materials referenced in section 2 of the staff report dated January 2nd, 2026, with the conditions contained there within, and further to recommend favorable action to the Board of Selectmen. 1. Prior to the issuance of a building permit, minor modifications to the approved site plan and supporting materials may be approved administratively by the Planning Board Chair. 2. Upon completion of the project, future modifications or additions to the accessory uses and structures shall be subject to compliance with the zoning bylaw and may require additional review and approval by the Planning Board and Board of Selectmen. 3. All lighting associated with the parking area shall not spill or glare onto any adjoining property. 4. Prior to the start of any on-site work, the applicant shall file for, comply with all requirements and obtain all permits pursuant to general bylaw, stormwater management and erosion controls, Chapter 159, as required by the Department of Public Works, including all project review required by the town engineer. 5. The parking area and accessory structure as approved is accessory to the Hale education use permitted at this property. 6. Pursuant to the general bylaw, Chapter 93, use of construction equipment, including but not limited to idling trucks, heavy earth moving equipment, materials handling equipment, logging and land clearing equipment, pumps, generators, and air compressors, powered by any internal combustion or diesel engine, air-actuated nailing guns, circular saws, drills, and the like, that are utilized for the purpose of building or assembling construction materials, shall only be allowed outside of any structures on Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The outdoor use of this equipment during all other hours shall be prohibited. 7. The applicant shall apply for and receive all required Dover and state permits required for the water well and compost toilets. 8. All access, parking, and travel ways shall comply with any applicable ADA requirements. 9. Prior to the start of any site work, all trees proposed to be removed in the work area shall be marked in the field and inspected by the town planner prior to removal. And 10. Updated January 5th, 2026. Melissa, I don't think I have to reread that one. Unless you want me to.
No, I think
I'm good.
Okay, you read it.
good. Absolutely.
And I can't see anything below, so I think we're good.
There we go.
Okay.
Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Val.
Mhm.
Are there any further comments or questions before we take a vote on the motion? Seeing none, the planning board will take a vote, and then I'll turn it over to Robin for the Board of Selectmen vote. So planning board, Val Lynn,
Yes.
Jody Shu,
Yes.
Kate Williams,
Yes.
and Carol has been yes. And then turn it over to Robin for Board of Selectmen.
So then I will ask the Board of Selectmen if any of you have any questions. Okay, so then I'm going to make a motion to approve the site plan review with the list of requirements that Jody read so nicely.
Second,
All in favor? I, Robin Hunter.
I, Dave Haviland.
Hi, Cam Hudson.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Aaron and team, this is a very exciting project, and we look forward to all the
ribbon cutting.
plans you've got, the ribbon
Yes.
cutting, and all the plans you have for Hale Education. I know it's been a very, very long process, but so
Yes.
nice to see it almost finished so that it can proceed with all the planning that you've done over the last couple of years. So thank you very much, and thank you for the excellent package as well. I know Melissa appreciates it as well, but so do we. So thank you again for that. We look forward to seeing you in the near future then.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you. So I'm about to close out the joint meeting from the planning board standpoint, and then I'll have the selectmen close out theirs. But before I do, I just wanted to give a big thank you to Melissa. Between the holiday schedule of the townhouse, some technological issues in the townhouse,
Well,
and
I
all
would say they were outside of the townhouse's control.
and all the germs that were floating around the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Somehow she pulled this together.
He pulled it together, much of it on her own time. So, it's a media agenda tonight. There's a lot for our town planner to do with support from Christine as well. So thank you very, very much for going above and beyond to make tonight's meeting possible. We really do appreciate it, Melissa.
Thank you, Carol. I
And
appreciate the
easy,
support.
Melissa.
Yeah.
I mean, you
And
covered
I
everything.
know.
Yeah, I had a tough week there, but I'm bouncing back. So
That's good.
So with that, I'm going to make a motion to close the planning board's, the joint meeting of the planning board at 7:45. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jody. All in favor, Jody,
Yes.
Val,
Yes.
Katie,
Yes.
and Carol, yes. Thank you. And I'll turn it over to Robin.
And I'm going to make a motion to adjourn the joint meeting between the Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board.
Second,
All in favor? I, Robin Hunter.
I, Dave Haviland.
Hi, Cam Hudson.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Board of Selectmen and Mike. And have a good evening.
Yep,
Thank
thanks.
you, everybody.
You too.
Well done, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Now we're going to do all the fun stuff.
Now we're going to do the fun stuff.
Now you have your regular meeting, right?
Now we're back to the planning board meeting.
Mom and Dad have gone. Now the kids are going to have fun.
There we go.
And I am upgrading Paul Machekny, who is here for our preliminary site plan review after we do our
Okay,
citizen comments.
exactly. So first things for the planning board meeting is citizens' comments. This gives folks an opportunity to comment on anything relevant to the planning board that's not on tonight's agenda. Are there any comments?
I don't see any hands
Any?
raised.
Nor do I. See, they only have three other attendees. So with that, we will go to our regular board business, item 2A on the agenda, which is a preliminary site plan review of a shed at 3 Claybrook Road. And I will turn this over to Melissa.
Thank you, Carol. We are here for preliminary site plan review, 3 Claybrook Road. Paul Machekny is here with us representing the property owner. The property is held in a trust, and we've made sure that we have all the appropriate signatures from the ownership entity of this particular property. Very straightforward project here. We have a 20.2 feet by 14.1 foot storage shed, 285 square feet in the side yard. I have included here Again, a locust map, expansive property. You can see this little yellow dot here where my cursor is. The shed will be located out of the setback between the house and the side property line. We can see that much better here on the plot plan. I highlighted in yellow, so it's nice and easy to see. Not only does the shed meet the accessory structure setbacks, but it meets the primary structure setbacks as well. This is nothing more than a shed to be used for storage. Paul's provided some nice elevations from Pine Harbor. We're going to have some cedar shingles, PVC trim, architectural shingles to match the exterior of the dwelling that is located on the property. And in this particular, there are no utilities whatsoever, no power, no water, nothing whatsoever going out to this property. I'm assuming it's going to be used for some yard materials and whatnot. I can imagine the what's needed to maintain this property is fairly extensive. We have a short list here of materials. Again, Paul was kind of caught right in the middle of going into OpenGov. So he was the first person who got his materials uploaded. And everything, like I said, looks great there. We have the deeds, the elevations, the plot plan, and a nice narrative that describes the construction on the sauna tubes. Then we get into our criteria here, the site plan review criteria. And this, again, being a 285 square foot shed, really does not even start to come close to even impacting barely any of this criteria. So we're in the R2 zone. There is a portion of the property in the Conservancy District in the rear, and also some in the Groundwater Protection District. Driveway opening is existing. There won't be any changes. They'll be using that for the construction. Not applicable, I put down for the arrangement of parking spaces and loading. There is not going to be any excess vehicles associated on the property with the shed. As I had noted earlier, the shed exceeds not only the setbacks for a accessory structure, but also a primary structure being located almost 50 feet off the property line. No additional tree clearing will be completed as part of this. There will be some shrubs that will be relocated in order to get this shed on the property. It's used for storage, no utility connections. You know, there's really no opportunity here for impacts to any, not only their property, but any abutting properties. The design of the shed with the board and batten siding, white cedar shingles will serve to complement the expansive dwelling. And again, they have also taken into account the resource areas, the topography, and they're staying out of the conservation portion of the lot. So picked a great portion of the property that isn't going to require any additional permitting or impact any of those resource areas mentioned. In regards to natural resources, groundwater and open space, absolutely no concerns whatsoever there. The shed's not going to impact any town resources. The shed is designed will not be incongruent or inappropriate in character. Again, we can see from the elevations, it's very tastefully designed, and the shed meets all other requirements of the zoning bylaw. And Paul is also here, as I noted, representing the applicant. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Melissa. And thank you, Paul, for being the planning board's guinea pig when it came to OpenGov. We appreciate it.
It was a great, easy process. Thank you.
Good to hear. Are there any questions for Paul or Melissa on this application?
Very straightforward.
Yes, it is. Okay, seeing none, Jody, would you like to make the motion, please?
Oh, I'd love to.
I know you're getting so good at this.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the preliminary site plan review application for the accessory structure and parking area and all supporting materials referenced in Section 2 of the staff report dated January 3rd, 2026, with the conditions contained there within. 1. Prior to the issuance of a building permit, minor modifications to the approved site plan and supporting materials may be approved administratively by the planning board chair. 2, upon completion of the project, future modifications or additions to the accessory shed structure shall be subject to compliance with the zoning bylaw and may require additional review and approval by the planning board and Board of Selectmen.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I think we'll strike that and we can just sort of strike it live. So they may require
Gone.
additional review and approval by the planning board. No lighting was presented as part of the project, but if in the future lighting is installed, all lighting associated with the sheds shall not spill or glare onto any adjoining property. Prior to the start of any on-site work, the applicant shall file for, comply with all requirements, and obtain all permits pursuant to general bylaw, stormwater management, and erosion controls, Chapter 159, as required by the Department of Public Works, including all project review required by the town engineer. 5, the accessory structure is approved as a storage shed. 6, pursuant to the general bylaw 93, Chapter 93, use of construction equipment, including but not limited to idling trucks, heavy earth-moving equipment, materials handling equipment, logging and land clearing equipment, pumps, generators, and air compressors powered by any internal combustion or diesel engine, air-actuated nailing guns, circular saws, drills, and the like that are utilized for the purpose of building or assembling construction materials shall only be allowed outside of any structures on Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The outdoor use of this equipment during all other hours shall be prohibited.
Yeah, at this rate, Jody, you'll be able to say this.
I know. I get it. I like air-actuated nailing guns.
Do I hear a second?
Second?
Thank you, Val. Are there any further questions or comments before we take a vote? Seeing none, we will take a vote. Jody?
Yes.
Val?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
And Carol, yes. Okay, well, thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you all very much. Have a great night.
You too.
Thank you, Melissa.
You're welcome, Paul. I'll have all the paperwork done tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yep.
Okay, and we move on to item.
Excuse me, we do have somebody with their hand raised.
Take a look.
Bogdan.
Ogden Kirka.
Yeah, I don't want to butcher that.
So you let Carol do it?
Do you want me to elevate them?
Sure, please. Bogdan, I'm going to call you by your first name so I don't butcher your last name. My apologies.
No, perfect. No, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I didn't know how to turn my audio on, but I'm a neighbor. I live at 7 Clayburgh Road, and there's already one shed on that property, which is pretty much facing my house. And I didn't know whether there's gonna be like another shed next to it, and whether there's gonna be any sort of shrubs to sort of right now all the surroundings, there's a lot of shrubs and I barely see, the other property. And I can still see the shed, the existing shed, but if there's gonna be, one more shed next to it, it's just want to make sure that it's gonna be like with the surroundings and there's gonna be additional shrubs next to it. Yeah, on the map there's no it doesn't show the existing shed.
It does. The existing shed is just above that. Hold on, let me move my cursor. I believe it's this tiny one here. Do you see that little square?
Oh yeah. So the new one is pretty much it's bigger than the existing one and it's much closer to the property line.
Correct. It's about, let me zoom in. It has to be 20 feet and I think it's almost 50. I can't, let me see if I can see that dimension.
If I can find it on.
Yeah, I have Carol to the, let me see. I have the plot plan here that just the plot plan, which might be a little bit clearer.
Yep.
Let me just get down here. Yeah, There we can see it, sir. 49.8 feet. And no trees or anything will be removed as part of this shed. But I also don't believe that they're doing any additional screening.
Okay. So essentially both sheds will be used for, like any machinery to do the landscaping or anything like that. So the two sheds will be used for?
I can't speak to the existing shed, sir, but I can tell you that the one that we are the planning board approved tonight is for storage. Yep, and there's no utility connections, so there's really no opportunity to do anything more inside there than store equipment, and that's how
Okay.
it was relayed that it was for storage.
Okay, well, thank you for attending tonight, and our apologies for not seeing your hand raised earlier.
That's all right. Thank you.
Okay, so with that, we're going to go on to the next item, which is item 2B, for Melissa to just give us a quick update on the operating budget.
Yes. So at the last meeting, I presented the budget to the board, and also we were fortunate enough to have our warrant committee representatives with us as well. The day after the meeting, I submitted all the materials to Mr. Blanchard as we were instructed to, and that afternoon, a memo had come out that there was a small error in the salary calculations spreadsheet that was provided to us. So at that time, I had gone back in. It didn't affect my dollar amount because I'm on a salary, but Christine is an hourly employee and it did affect hers. I immediately brought this to Carol's attention and wanted to make sure that the board was aware that we went from a total budget of 263,207 to 263,522, and that the only change was here in the permanent staff, line item that I've called out as updated per submitted. So I wanted to make sure everybody had that. And again, this was what was submitted on behalf of the department and the planning board to Mr. Blanchard.
Any questions about that change? Strictly administrative.
Yep.
Thank you, Melissa, for that. And now we'll go on to item 2C, which is discussion of the master plan funding article for the May 2026 town meeting. And there's a memo in your package.
Yep, so I had a chance to update the memo. I had done sort of a smaller or more condensed version of this for the last meeting. Since that time, I was able to speak to another consultant. And again, the number, the magic number is 200,000. This was what was shared with me by both of the consultants. And again, a lot of it is based on the level of public participation that a particular community might be seeking. So I like to create buffers and plan for expenditures and hopefully, come in below that. But it's important to make sure that we have the funding in place if and when we do go out for requests for proposals. I went back and researched. They're both on the website. We have the 2004 master plan, and the 2012 was essentially a change of date and maybe a couple names of people that were involved. A lot of information in these reports, and the few comments that I have, and I'll be putting together some more lengthy comments and justifications for the warrant committee and also for town meeting, is that the way this master plan looks just isn't how modern master plans function. Nowadays, they're data driven. There's a lot of graphics. There's a lot of maps. It's very visual and interactive. The versions that we have are very long. They're very wordy. Frankly, none of the pictures and figures are even legible. So I think that going forward with something like this now, from my perspective, the master plan is really almost 20 years old if we go back to 2004. Standard planning practice is you update it every 10 years. If you do a really, really good plan, you can get away with some meaty updates, maybe 5-6 years of some certain components in the plan, whether it's circulation, whether it's housing. And we do have a lot of good work that's already going on in the community on the housing front and also on our open space plan. So as a professional planner, this is something I think that is important to the town. And I think it's also important to note that this just isn't a planning board thing. This is a document that is going to inform and educate and direct Dover as we move into the future from all aspects. There's a lot of things that nobody was talking about in 2004, sustainability, green technologies. We're a green community now. There's a lot of different things that I really think the town could benefit from updating their master plan and having an implementation schedule and having a lot of public input around important topics and decisions that will just make those decisions much easier in the future because we will have done all of that legwork and gotten all of the public input and really understand what's important to the residents here in Dover. So I will continue to work on that pitch. I believe this is a worthwhile endeavor. And I think that hopefully other folks in the community will think that as well. Also in this memo that I can't seem to advance, I just put everything in one memo here.
Can I interrupt you for one question?
Yes.
On that $200,000 master plan. Can you explain, and I don't doubt that it exists, but I'm sure the question will come up. How does it dovetail with the expenditure that was approved a couple of years ago for a housing consultant to help us with like sort of a housing plan? How would you describe how those two things work together?
So I think that a lot of the work that we're going to be doing through the Housing Task Force and with Barrett Consulting will sort of create a foundation for the housing element of the plan. One of the things that at least I have done professionally, when you put out your request for proposal, you include all of these baseline documents that the town has already prepared so that the consultants that are interested in working with Dover can say, oh, well, they've done a decent amount of work in housing. We don't need to reinvent the wheel there. Or they've got a pretty good open space plan. Maybe they just need help with the implementation portion of that. So some of the sections will need more attention than others. And I would see that the master plan would build upon anything that has already been completed in the community in that specific element.
Thanks.
Any other questions to Melissa on that portion of the memo? Okay, so Melissa, why don't we discuss the topic that just never stops giving?
Yes. Site plan review. So
ADU.
Oh, ADU. Oh, I'm sorry. So we got our comments back from the Attorney General, and we need to make a few revisions, very minor revisions. The Reader's Digest version is they're allowed by right. Doesn't matter if you have a single family, a 10 unit, anybody can put an ADU anywhere on any lot with a residential structure. And we have some terms in there like single family dwelling and things like that. So it's really a word choice. I think it's very clear. We've done a couple ADUs. I talked to several residents about these. We are being very fair and non-objective in looking at these. We're making sure we have the information that we need and the record is documented. So I will be putting together some very minor revisions to address the comments from the Attorney General. I can circulate that memo. I recall today when I was packing up my stuff, I realized that I hadn't circulated it yet. But essentially, in discussing with the chair this afternoon, ADUs are now in the exempt section of our state zoning. So they are treated like churches, educational uses. This is this couldn't be more, you have to allow this no matter what, than a church or a school. And again, there was some words in there that they felt were a little bit leaning towards discretion. So we'll address those and clean that up and get that back up to the AG.
And we'll have to go through a town meeting article.
Yes,
You
yes.
go-
Unfortunately, we have to do that, but
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I was waiting for you, Jody, to realize that.
We have to do another one?
Yep.
yes. So
It's
regardless,
wordsmithing.
yeah. So regardless of the bylaw has been adopted locally and passed by town meeting. So we will take the version that was voted on in the spring and the comments, and what I will do in my memo when I put that together is have the text that's in place now, the comment, and how we plan to address that in a red line version. Yes.
Thank you.
And just as a kind of a lot of my peers in planning have received similar letters from the AG. Unfortunately, some communities passed it before the guidelines were in place, so they've got substantial comments.
Ugh.
And then others, again, sort of this like, you know, it just, it's just, it couldn't be more, from the state's perspective, it just has to be so clear that it's by right and there's no questions asked type of situation. So we're not alone with these comments, if that's any type of reassurance. But we'll address them and we'll take care of that.
Thank you.
And just to emphasize, on an operational basis, it doesn't change anything we're doing relative to approving an ADU.
Right, exactly. And you know, the at least in my opinion, I have not seen any level of discretion. You know, we share facts in the reports, and that's what's shared with the planning board, and that's what the planning board is basing their decisions on. So I don't have any concerns of how we've been acting and approving. We've done a couple since I've been here, and we have 2 more on the horizon. So I think we're in good shape.
The good news is that we're getting a lot of ADU applications. I mean, that was the
Yeah.
intent. So it's good to
Yep.
see.
Yep. And then the last but not least is the site plan review. And I've really sort of gotten into that a little bit more. I've noted here some sections that are going to be the primary focus. So section 185.05 is definitions. So we'll put some definitions in for what I'm going to be proposing to the board is that we have 2 tracks. One is a partial site plan review, which would replace the preliminary site plan review, and then a full site plan review, which would be for our much larger projects. For example, our solar, a full-size solar array and our overlay is something that would fall under that. Section 185.09 and 10 are the sections that have, you know, required, allowed, selectmen, ZBA. The table's a mess, just being kind. Carol and I are gonna take a red feather pen to that. And you know, I'm looking at the bylaw with decades of experience, and some things aren't clear necessarily to me. And I think it's really important for the bylaw to be clear in the processes that the planning board and the board of selectmen in some cases undertake to approve these site plan reviews, and those should mirror one another. So, I mean, I don't expect every regular Joe to understand that, but I expect it to be clear to somebody like myself to be able to educate residents on the process. So that's really the goal here. Section 185.36 is really the meat that describes that, and we're going to see 2 tracks outlined in that particular section. And then 185.40 is the section that talks about the selectmen having some type of purview over this process, and I think that could be much clearer. I personally thought the joint meeting went very well this evening. I think that's a great opportunity for the planning board to hear from the selectmen and the selectmen to hear from the planning board and abutters and be able to see the presentation and to ask all the questions. Seems like it really makes sense to me. So I might be moving towards curating a process that's a little bit like the one that took place this evening. There's nothing that prohibits the joint meeting. I just think there's efficiencies built in that. And I think everybody really that was at the meeting tonight had benefited equally from the materials and the presentations. So working, really kind of going to be shifting gears in January, working backwards into calendars for town meeting, setting up our public hearing schedules, making sure that articles are filed in an orderly fashion. I will be putting together to submit to the town administrator this week these separate requests. I will doctor these up so they look nice and have the appropriate language. And these will be the articles that will be put forward from the planning board for the May town meeting this year.
Thank you, Melissa. So as Melissa mentioned, she and I will be meeting in a couple of days to look at a draft. Right now, as you can imagine, redlining it makes it almost impossible to read. So many changes. So what we hope to do is get you out a simplified red line. And then I just urge you all to please review it in detail. Think about all the issues that have come up as we've done our site plan reviews. I think we did 19 or 20 last year. And get back to Melissa on a one-to-one basis with your thoughts, both, at 5,000 feet above sea level and 5,000 feet below sea level, because the devil's in the details, as we know, with zoning bylaws. So it's really, really important that each of you provide Melissa with your thoughts, recommendations, historical views of issues that we had with site plan review, so that when we do this wholesale change, which is, a long time in coming, that we try to get it as right as we possibly can.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll have, get all your input so that we can maybe discuss it in more depth at the first meeting maybe the last meeting in January. And then move it along as we get closer to open hearing in March.
Yep. And I'm available to meet with anybody in the office, do a Zoom, whatever works for the planning board members, I can accommodate. I think everyone's experiences, comments, past practice, things to be concerned about, things to not be concerned about, all that is very helpful. I'm very versed in this topic, but new to Dover, and I don't have that historical knowledge. So that's where all of you will really be a huge, huge benefit to me in my drafting.
Okay. On to the annual report.
So which version we have here? Let me see.
This afternoon version or the late morning version?
Yes.
There wasn't any substantive change. It was just some editing issues.
Yes. I had a couple different versions and wanted to make sure we got Val's stuff, and was honestly feeling really, really crappy yesterday. And thankfully Carol's like, what is this? And we took care of it today. So this is essentially the version that we had on the 8th. And Val sent a very nice and detailed a summary of all the great work from the tree committee, which has been added to the tree committee section. And just while we're talking about this, Val and I have been working with MAPC, and we received a final proposal from them. We were going back and forth with some comments and hoping to get the green light from Val this week. Tough time over the holidays, and be looking to sign that contract and get them working underway as well. So lots of different things happening here. So the report, again, is basically what we had seen with Val's additions. And then we also had another, a table section in the report that I actually completely missed. And we've updated that as well. So we have our new planning assistant, myself, and then the appointments of the planning board members, most recently Shobha Fry. I think we voted her at the last meeting. So this is also updated and will be submitted along, with the report. Everything, the town report, all the articles for town meeting, the budget's already in. That's all going to be submitted. I think it's due Thursday. I'd like to have it all done and submitted by tomorrow.
Val, could you just take a quick look at your tree committee? I think we've got it all right.
Let's see. Melissa, can you just, are you able to pull up the tree committee piece?
I have the list right here.
Oh, I thought you meant the other section. Yeah, this
No, no.
looks correct. Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah. The other stuff, Val, I just took from what you had emailed to Carol and I.
That's what I thought.
and
Okay.
Just dropped it in. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, this looks correct.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, wait a minute. No, we need to add Jean Lukenda.
Oh,
Can you spell that for me, Val?
Sure, let me just make sure that I
Or
have
if you
it.
just want to email it to me, that's fine.
Sure, yeah. Why don't I just do that?
Yeah, I just Jean.
Yeah, I think it's
that will be 7 members.
Yep,
Okay.
that would be right.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure I get the spelling right. I don't want to spell someone's name in a
Sure, yeah.
town report. And
Yeah.
I'll get that added. I have a note here and we'll get that right over, revised and sent right over.
Perfect. Okay, great.
Okay, thank you. So Melissa, any further updates?
I really want to apologize. I didn't have a chance to even look at my spreadsheet.
Don't apologize, please.
But just on the quick front, I had mentioned a few things. Christine, I want to highlight Christine. She's really she's got all our bills paid. She's got all our checks deposited. We are, we were holding our own on the technical side, and now she's right up there on the administrative side of things. She's now also going through all the files in the office, cleaning those up, creating a log so we'll know all the applications, what was approved. Just a nice reference for us to be able to find things quickly, understand what we have, understand what's happened in the history of particular properties. So that's going on. We're also looking at our fees. She's gotten all of the fees from all the abutting towns and she's organizing those into a spreadsheet so that we will be able to determine, are our fees in line? Are we falling short? It's important to be, in line with your abutting communities. And then on the application front, we have the 3 items that were listed on the agenda. 18 Meadowbrook Road, which is already filed. We're working with them. They weren't ready for the meeting, so we got a signed extension. 3 Tub Rec, which is a shed. 80 Strawberry Hills, a plunge pool. And then over the holiday and in between sneezing and coughing, was able to have some discussions with some other residents. 22 Wilsondale is looking at an ADU. They have a fairly large piece of property. They do have some wetland resource areas and things that they need to work around as well. And then also a garage replacement at 38 Mill Street. So I think Mill Street might be able to be on for the end of the month and maybe even Tub Rec, but continuing to work with our residents and answer questions about the process. And just again, to highlight, I am obsessed with OpenGov. I just really, and the planning board members are going to be obsessed with it too as soon as I give my tutorial. So you all received an email from OpenGov. I know that Carol and Jody have gone on. If you haven't had a chance, Katie and Val, no worries whatsoever. I will resend that link tomorrow. And then once everybody is on there, I can go in and give certain permissions so you'll be able to see and view certain things. The goal in the future is that you will be accessing all of the application materials. I'll still have all the pretty pictures and stuff in the reports, but the application, all the supporting materials, to the point that Christine and I are uploading the abutter notifications. We're uploading checks with numbers crossed off, account numbers and things like that. So we are duplicating a public record a paper record in digital format. And then Carol and I were talking, maybe at the next meeting, I can do a quick share screen and go through things. Also, 100% available and open for one-on-one in the office training, or also a Zoom training to accommodate your schedules if you can't get in the office. But it is, I have to say, I was intimidated at first, and now that we're in there and kind of finding our way, it's ridiculously user-friendly. So I'm really excited about that, because there's just so much ability to upload materials, to download even materials. It's just really, really user-friendly. Even for the meeting, I knew people weren't going to be up and running. The holiday, I don't expect anybody to create an OpenGov account on Christmas Eve. Just even to get all the materials to you, it's literally one click of download, and it all goes right into an email. So working towards that, I'd like maybe in for 2 months for us to maybe be, 100% OpenGov, but obviously available to help facilitate sharing any information. Anytime somebody can't access something, I'm usually available to help facilitate getting that information out. And the nice thing about it is you can access it whenever you want. So, I wasn't feeling well and was home last week for a day or two. I had my computer, so I can go on and check. Has anybody filed an application? Has anybody sent me a message about an application? So it's really nice to be able to not only have that at your fingertips, but you can access it anywhere. And we don't need any paper. I'm working solely off digital file, no paperwork, and it's just awesome. So can't say enough about it. I keep thanking Jason, but it's really a nice tool. So I think the town got a grant. I'm not sure if they put in some of their own money, but money well spent.
Oh, absolutely. And I've been looking at it as well. And, in addition to the ease, you think about the site plan review and all the questions. Sometimes you say, well, what did Board of Health say? What did Concom say? What did the town engineer say? It's all right there.
Yep.
Because they have to go through and include their content before it goes on to the next step. So it's going to make our lives so much easier. And we just have this incredibly comprehensive overview, and then can delve into the detail as we wish. So it's easy. It really is easy. So that'll allow us to avoid all these big emails with all these attachments, and the agendas, other memos and issues will come up. But when it comes to the applications, it will all be on OpenGov.
And you just look it up by the address. Is that how it works?
Essentially, you log in, and then there is a section on the top of the screen. If you're on there right now, Jody, which I think you might be.
No, I'm not. But
you can click on something. Carol and I were doing this today. You click on reports, you pick planning board, and all our applications come right up. And then you go in there, you can look at the form, you can look at all the attachments, you can look at what Janet Bowser said, what Mike and Jerry said. I mean, it's it's like I said, it's very, very streamlined and very easy. There's no calling anybody, hey, can I get this comment? Or when are you going to give me this? And
so you literally are making you're making your comments right on the document online.
There are, not on the documents, but there are, there's like pop-up boxes.
Got it.
Yep. So, and what Christine and I are doing, is like, for example, Hale, they put all their application materials in, and then we go in and we say, okay, this is going to be the meeting. So we type right in there, this is the meeting date, and we save that and upload it. Then we say, okay, well, we're going to do an abutter courtesy notification. Well, just upload it to the portal too. Anybody wants to see what's sent out to the neighbors? Here it is. And there's the date that it was sent out and the task was completed. Everything's time stamped. So there's no like, oh, I did that a couple weeks ago. No, you didn't, Melissa. You did it last night. So there's really, it's so transparent. I can't even tell you.
You're in love. You're in
It-
love.
It's down to hours and minutes. So it's just, and again, there's some, I was kind of nervous at first and, oh, how's this going to go? But again, I'm here as a resource. Anybody wants to do a one-on-one training, more than willing to do that.
I'm putting that on my to-do list for right now.
Yeah, no, I'd love to do it.
And
I'd love to
as
do it.
all the land use departments start using it, obviously, like with anything else, there are little things that come up. So at the land use meetings that they have, they review, well, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to tweak this. It didn't go through, shall we say, a true beta test. We just sort of went live. So
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
iterative
that's
process, and it'll work great.
yeah, that's fair, Carol. Like we noticed today, because there's kind of like the mainframe page that the public will see that we want to build out a little bit more and have some blurbs and that kind of stuff, put up a picture or something. Like the sign application isn't showing up there. Well, we have it on our side and we can see it, but for some reason it's not there. So little things like that we're working through. The more you use it, the more these things that you'll see. But Christine and I have been, it's kind of funny. I'm like, something happened, come over, because I want her to see in real time, what this looks like. And it's really nice to have a second set of eyes. She's seeing something. She's like, oh no, it's right here. So the two of us together are just pouncing on this thing. It's really, really great. Yep. I couldn't be happier. So a lot of good things.
And it's a great start. I mean, if you look at OpenGov and all their offerings, over time, should the town decide to, there's almost nothing that's done in town government that there isn't an application for within the OpenGov system. As I got my dog license stuff in the mail today.
Yeah.
There's a dog license app. There's a cemetery app. I mean, it's all over the place. So I expect over time that we'll just be doing more and more with OpenGov. But if this is any indication, it's a great company and a great software package.
Wow, that's super.
Yeah. Even on our side, to the members, like I want to maybe put up the address assignment stuff, little by little. It was a lot of work building out the applications. At that time, I didn't have any administrative support. So, and I really wanted to do a good job. I didn't want to just get them done to get them done. So I did spend quite a bit of time. But now that Christine's here and she's up and running, I would like to add as much as we possibly can to the portal so that it's just everything's there, the record keeping, accessing that information. And then we can also go in and see, what everyone else is doing. Not that we have much time to do that, but it's nice to kind of double check. Hey, I made a comment on this. Where are we on that? What's going on? So it's really nice.
Wow.
A nice, yeah.
I see what you mean on the public facing interface. I'm just looking at it that, you're starting to, but I can see how it would be helpful to be like, click here if,
Yep. Yeah. Yep. I agree,
like
Jody.
You need this, you need to click here if the following things apply to your project or whatever.
Exactly. And then the nice thing in the attachment section, there's things that are required, and also in the application, there's fields that are required. So you can't like skip your name or your address or something like that. You have to fill in those particular fields.
Wow.
And we had a couple glitches with the fees and things, but even that's worked itself out. So, yeah.
And is there anything historical, or is that like maybe later they will get added, but?
There are no old applications on there. There are no, scans of old files or things like that.
Like
Christine now is going through all of that and getting the files organized, making sure that what's in the file has to do with the file, et cetera.
Yeah.
And, once we get those all tightened up, I maybe see an opportunity to have an intern or something like that, maybe help us. We do have scanning capabilities at Town Hall, to, potentially maybe do some of that scanning in-house and get those materials up. But now we're just, when an address comes in, we just like go to the draw, We look to see if there's any files there. And that's, used to kind of that type of research. I had to research the signs that are over at the Dover Deli, pull the building jacket, pulled our files, found the planning board actions, and kind of pieced together how they
Right.
were there and that they're oversized. And so we're doing the same type of research in the paper files. So we'll continue to do that until there's, additional opportunities for digitizing.
One other question, just that's like kind of just whatever. Is there a discussion of security concerns people have? Because like it's one thing for a file to sit in a file cabinet in a planning board office or in the building department, and there's like open government access to those files. But it's like, can anybody in the whole wide world be looking at all the documents around somebody's, for example, house they're building?
Yes. So a bunch of different communities, those that have online permitting and even those that are not doing online permitting, put their applications up online. The only thing that I have seen that has created a concern is checks. And what we have done, Christine and I, what we do is we block out the routing number and the account number on the check, and then we upload the check as proof of payment. But the reality is that any document, paper copy, any email, anything is public record. It needs to be produced in accordance with the open record law. So whether it's online or somebody writes and, says, I want every building permit from the last week. What we have found, or at least in my previous life, is the materials being available online really helps efficiency in the office because people aren't coming to the counter. You're not pulling out hard files. They can look at them whenever they want, whether it's, the afternoon or 2:00 in the morning. And they're able to gather that information. And it also, I have noticed in my experience, it cuts down on people coming to meetings and asking questions because sometimes that's the only opportunity. But they can look at the materials and they're like, oh, whatever. It's a deck, or it's a shed, or it's a couple of solar panels. And that a lot of times people just want to know what's going on, you know? So that's always kind of a general thing with privacy and things like that. But the reality is that it's all public record anyways. So now it's just a little bit more accessible, and hopefully will translate into a cost savings on staff time, not having to pull out a file, hand it to somebody, put it away, make copies, those types of things. I mean, people can screenshot things. Even people that have come into the office since I've been there, they're like, oh, I'll just take a picture with my phone. Or I offer to email them the documents so that they can share them with their spouse or their neighbor. Or, sometimes we get somebody that comes, oh, I'm coming for me and my neighbors. So we just try to make them getting the documents as easy as possible. Now anybody can look at them whenever they want.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else, Melissa?
I don't have anything else, Carol. Thank you.
I'd worry about you if you had more. I just have one thing, and that is that, we have the town caucus on March 2nd, where we hope that Nick and Eric will become caucus nominees. And then we have the open hearing on March 9th. I will not be attending either of those. I will not be available. So Jody, Kate, and Val, I hope that you guys will be able to attend. And we'll talk about the two events before that to make sure that they go smoothly this year.
I think we learned our lesson.
But I unfortunately, and my apologies, but I will be at neither.
Okay, I got them in. Oh, actually, I won't be available for the 2nd, just as we're thinking about planning.
August.
Actually, hold on. Yeah, no, I won't. I will not be available for March 2nd, but I am in town on March 9th.
Okay.
And
Val?
I'm the opposite. I'm here on the 2nd, but not on the 9th.
Okay.
Okay, and Katie, do you have a sense
I'll
of
be
your-
here for both of them.
Both, great, okay. Okay, and of course, this year for the open hearing, we'll have Melissa that can do her budget. and
Yes,
more.
I'm confident I'll do a good job. I have extensive experience presenting budgets, begging for money,
Yep.
justifying expenditures. Also a small business owner, so
I feel like we're in good hands.
We're in good hands, you know?
Carol, we got 2 million.
We should probably just all move out of town and let her run it.
They just opened up a bag of cash. We grabbed it all.
She comes out of the open here. That's the money. Oh, we got 2 million.
Too funny. You gotta have fun with this stuff too.
Absolutely.
You gotta have fun.
Oh, it's so good. Okay.
Okay, so the only thing left on the agenda is approval of the minutes of December 8th. Christine, thank you very much for these. Does anybody have any comments or edits? In that case, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of December 8th as submitted. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jody. We'll do a roll call vote. Katie?
Yes.
Jody?
Yes.
Val?
Yes.
And Carol, yes. Okay, thank you, Christine. Anything else before we adjourn the meeting?
Carol, I just had a question. Is there any update on the 40B that is proposed? I think it's Strawberry Hill?
So since, let's see, we discussed the visit that some of us made to the property at the last meeting, I think, right? Or maybe not. I'm sort of losing track of exactly.
Me
what's
too.
expected.
Me too.
So
Yeah, I don't think
we had,
think we
okay,
did.
so we had a site visit
Mhm.
back in December, open to anybody. We had lots of neighbors, Strawberry Hill,
Okay,
come
great.
as well. Conservation Commission, Melissa and I were there from the Planning Board, Board of Health, Kay Peterson was there. I think Jason was there. A bunch of others. So a good site visit, walked the property. Beautiful piece of property. Oh my goodness, stunning piece of property. And Mike Blanchard did get an extension from the state. A 30-day, usually it's 30 days, but with the holidays and all, it was maybe like 6 or 7 working days for us to give a response. So we have, I think it's February 2nd, sometime early February.
Okay, great.
For the town's response, and I assume that Mike is working that with all the various departments. I know the Open Space Committee will be approving the Open Space Committee response and submission to Mike at our meeting tomorrow night. And the Planning Board will have to do something
We'll have that for the next meeting. Yep.
January 26th.
Yep.
And I assume the other Concom, Board of Health and so forth are going to be doing the same.
Okay, great. Thank you.
The other thing we need to do is set up the meeting with Toll Brothers.
Yep. That's on my list, Robin. Yep. I'm gonna get right on that. I apologize. Last week was a bust for me.
Yeah,
Just
no
the-
worries. I'm sure nobody was around.
Yeah, oh no,
Maybe
I know, I know. It's like
online.
I'm over here freaking out. I'm like, I got 3 emails and 2 are from Carol. So
I'm getting better. Normally it would be 6 or 7. What can I tell you?
they're just longer. Now they have sections. No, and it's been very quiet, but I'd like to try to
Well,
I'll
there was
reach out to
no
them.
internet for days, so.
I know. I'll tag you both on that correspondence to set that up. I'd like to do that next week if we can.
Okay.
Anything else?
Great meeting.
Yeah, lots of
Great
stuff.
job.
Lots of stuff. Very exciting. We're almost done closing out all the May 2025 town meeting stuff, so we can just sort of focus on May 2026 and some of the bigger issues that we've been waiting for, like the master plan and all. So very exciting time. I
Yep.
think in the 6 months that Melissa's been here, the office is really caught up with a lot of stuff. So we can really look forward now instead of trying to
Yeah.
catch up.
Yeah.
So
Great
thank
job,
Thank
Melissa.
you, Melissa, and I know
Thank you.
in her short time here, Christine has really helped out with that. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, Christine.
Yep. Okay, with that, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:42. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Great, we'll take a roll call vote. Katie,
Yes.
Val,
Yes.
Jody?
Yes.
And Carol. Okay, so thank you, everyone. Next meeting on the 26th of January. And please give some thought to site plan review. Jody, I know you already sent some stuff into Melissa, Val, and Katie. If you could do the same in whatever vehicle you wish to communicate, it would really be very helpful.
Yeah.
Great.
Got it.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank you very
you,
much.
Thanks for
everybody.
everything, Melissa.
Good night,
Great
everyone.
job.
Thank you,
Good night.
everyone.
Good night.
Happy
Thank
New Year
you.
again.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
Good night.
Night.